At Oval, Sunday afternoon, Tasmanian State League action. North Hobart taking on Glenorchy this afternoon in pretty good conditions, it must be said. These two teams, well, still an outside chance to play finals footy, but the story this afternoon is, of course, the farewell of one of the greats of Tasmanian football, certainly in the modern era, a Glenorchy star, Jay Bowden, playing his final match in black and white this afternoon. Chris Rowbottom with you on the stream this afternoon, joined in commentary by Andrew Calling. Drewy, good to have you.
Pleasure to be here, Rowie, and a gorgeous day for football. It's a sun-bathed North Hobart Oval for this match, and a battle for the wooden spoon perhaps shaping here. The last place North Hobart Demons can leap over the top of Glenorchy and avoid the spoon with a win today. No doubt the Magpies are going to be extra motivated to avoid that. It wouldn't be the fairy tale ending thereafter for a man nicknamed the Prince of KG5. So certainly a big occasion here. Jay Bowden is the main story. What a player he's been over the past decade. Just the accolades he's achieved, and just been a joy to watch over the last kind of 10 plus years of local football.
Yeah, he certainly is the story, and his retirement from State League didn't come as a huge surprise, I suppose. That the rumblings and the whispers were fairly prominent for a number of weeks, and even last year we thought that perhaps 2020 would see him bow out. But you're right, what a champion he's been for 15 seasons at senior level for Glenorchy. He's won a premiership, he's kicked 500-odd goals, multiple league best and fairest, multiple league leading goal kicker, 6-time best and fairest. He's certainly the most decorated player in the modern version of the Tasmanian State League. And when you put him up against names, especially at Glenorchy, Hudson and Kazali and Danny Ling and these guys from a bygone era, he's absolutely amongst those guys, despite never having gone to the big league. And it remains one of the big mysteries in Tasmanian football, isn't it? How he didn't find his way onto an AFL list at some stage over the journey.
Yeah, his timing might have been just slightly off. There seemed to be a little period there where AFL teams are a little more keen to go the mature age rookie, but it's only really been in recent years we've seen more of it, and yeah, will certainly go down as one of the greatest in Tasmania to have never played in the AFL, and would have loved to see him get the shot, but obviously the result of him not means we've been able to watch him in the TSL, and 9 Team of the Years over the last decade. Probably would have made it again this year had he been able to get on the park a bit more regularly. He's still playing some pretty handy football, and Glenorchy a much more dangerous side with him out there.
And that's the thing, isn't it? He's not retiring because he can't get a kick anymore. He's still one of the most damaging players in the competition, and if he had played a couple more on top of the 6 that he has played, I think he's kicked 14 goals from that 6 games so far this season, then he would have been very hard to leave out of the Team of the Year, which, as I understand, is currently being formulated with a couple of games left to go. Let's talk a little bit about North Hobart, who after that really impressive start to the year, they ran a couple of the top teams close, including North Launceston. They snagged a couple of wins along the way, but since that early patch that they had to start their season off, they've been fairly disappointing, and they would have been targeting a finals berth this season, but barring a miracle, a win today and then a big win against Clarence in the final game, which can happen, I suppose, but they'd need to get them on percentage. You'd think they'd miss finals for another season.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. I think avoiding the wooden spoon's probably priority number 1, but certainly tough to see them sneaking into finals, and it'd be quite the reversal in form from them. But they've got some young players. I'm looking forward to watching the likes of young Samuel Collins out there in defence. Really keen to see what he can do. Jai Menzie, they've got a couple who've kind of been through the Devils program in recent times, and they've got some bright prospects for the future, but certainly a year they'd probably like to put behind them, and I don't think they're alone in the world in holding that view. But they'll be looking to end the year in a good fashion here with a victory at home and jumping out of last place with a win today.
Yeah, the spoon is what they will certainly be wanting to avoid today. There is something to play for both teams, of course. North Hobart wanting to climb off the bottom, and Glenorchy wanting to farewell one of the greats of their club. We're a couple of minutes away from getting underway as the teams break open from their huddles and start to make their way to their positions. A couple of big ins for the Pies. Jay Bowden, of course, headlining a number of major inclusions. He didn't play on Wednesday night against Lauderdale, perhaps in preparation for this one. Drewy's been finding it tough to get up week after week, so They targeted this game as his farewell. He comes into the team. Aiden Grace back into the team after a layoff. He had an injury complaint. He's a reigning Hudson medalist, so that's a big in as well. Ryan Banks-Smith comes in for Glenorchy too, and Dan Koppelman, I think, has made his way into the team. North Hobart relatively settled. Where do you see this game being won and lost this afternoon, Drewy?
Well, I think it's going to be who can use the ball a little better. Both teams are the top two teams in the league for turnovers, which is not the stat you want to be on top of. North Hobart, look, they want to control the game, get it on the outside. They've taken more marks than any team in the competition this year, but they've taken the least of them inside 50. So that suggests a little bit of a problem going forward. So they're going to need to be a little bit more efficient by foot today. But I think, as ever, the midfield battle looms as particularly crucial because both teams have got forward lines capable of kicking a winning score. It's just a matter of getting that supply down there, and they've been two pretty tough forward lines to play in this year, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly have. The bottom two teams, as we've mentioned, and Glenorchy have had their injury concerns all year, but they get a couple back today for this big one against North Hobart. Nice conditions here at North Hobart Oval. Two traditional southern teams going head-to-head. Perhaps a few more I would have liked to have seen through the gates today, Drewy, but not a bad little crowd nonetheless. As we get underway, middle of the ground, and John Geard on the bottom of the pack there will emerge. We'll have another stoppage. So up it goes. Rucks go at it. There was some holding going on as Sandrick was just dumped by Rainbird, but and some afters as well as Rainbird hits the deck. So handball from Deegan off to Geard, who goes inside 50. Big punch came from Williams. Banks-Smith will lead the chase towards the boundary, but it'll spill out for an early boundary throw-in. Left half forward for the Pies. North Hobart Oval looking in tremendous nick, as it has all year, of course. So when it comes, Deegan and Allen do the ruck work down to Charlton, who throws it on the boot, kicks up toward a wing. Mark unable to be taken. They'll work it out by hand here, North Hobart. Quick kick out of the congestion. Cleary got there first, laid the body in, but he had Sean Willis for company as it goes out of bounds. North Hobart gains some territory. It's on the right half-forward flank for the Demons.
Interesting, both teams opting to go man-on-man around the ground at the moment. Neither team with a spare in defence.
Get you to have a look at a couple of matchups, as we just call this passage. Caswell tries to kick out of the congestion. Deegan picks it up off the ground. Handball out now to Pepin, who kicks a high ball towards half forward too. Magpies get underneath it. They share it. Geard emerges with it. Handball to Banks-Smith. Underground handball missed the mark. Banks-Smith goes in after it, and it'll spill out of bounds again. Rainbird unable to gather.
Yeah, Jay Bowden Bowden's paddock at the moment for Glenorchy up top. He's being marked there by Bailey Walker, who's third in the league for spoils, and he's going to have to make a few today, I'd suspect. At the other end, we'll get back to that in a moment as the ball's thrown in, and the Demons with a chance to go forward for the first time today over the head of Dobos, and that one will just drop into the pocket there for a ball in. North Hobart looking to apply some pressure. Yeah. Fourth in the league for tackles inside 50. Slightly better than the Magpies, who rank 6th. It's thrown in by the umpire. Hits the deck. They'll try and work their way out of there. Norton for the Demons snaps it forward. It's a dangerous kick. Well spoiled away, though. Hits the deck, and they'll pile on, and the ball up will be called by the umpire.
So inside, North Hobart's attacking 50. Neither team to register a score early in the first term. Up it goes. Rucks go at it. Big tackle laid by Goodsall. Eventually spilled out the back. Kick forward by Blowfield. Gets it onto a teammate. Now it's outside of the right boot. Up toward a wing. Pack flyers unable to gather. Here's Dilger tumbling it forward in the Bowden direction. Just tried to slap it, but had nobody to slap it to. Eventually gathered by Williams, who has support of Sam Collins, impressive young player for North Hobart. He wanted Sandrick out wide. He's going to make him work. Eventually, it'll elude all players. In fact, it was Pepin in the long sleeves. boundary throw in just in front of our commentary position here. A few more black and white Glenorchy supporters starting to file in, which is good to see. Jay Bowden's farewell, of course, this afternoon. Play on advantage here from the free kick. Geared in the Bowden direction, and here he is. So gets some separation on the opponent in Bailey Walker. And Bowden will kick for the first of the afternoon. And perhaps the first of many, Drewy. You think they're going to be looking for him a little bit more than usual, which is a lot, mind you, because he's a prime target inside forward 50. And wouldn't this be the perfect start for Glenorchy? Their talisman, their champion, Jay Bowden. You'd back him in from here too. 45 metres out. He loved it as soon as it left the boot. And look at the Magpies get around their champ. They come from all corners of the ground. Jay Bowden kicks the first of the afternoon. Glenorchy 1 straight 6. North Hobart yet to score. Perfect start, Pies.
Goal umpire did not move. That was dead-eye straight from the champion, and he'll be eyeing off a big afternoon. Just getting vibes of maybe Jeremy Cameron versus Gold Coast in the last round of the AFL last year, where they're trying to get him the Coleman and just sacrificed everything and went, we're just going to kick it to him every chance we get.
Or maybe Ruffy against the Suns late last year as well, where he kicked 6.
Could be shades of that, I reckon, as the ball's bouncing in the middle. Who can get a clearance? Slight suspicions of a high one there, but getting away with it, and it'll be worked forward. The big man will fly. Dobos is there. He ran underneath it, though. Hits the deck and charging through awkwardly. Left it behind for Dobos, who snaps and puts it right through the middle. The immediate response from the Demons. Opportunistic from the big man. Just bounced right up for him. And that's a quick response.
Well, it might have been Meredith who came flying through and tried to spike the footy away and just clean missed it. Opened the door for DeBoz, and he made no mistake. So the 2 big goal kickers on the board early.
You'd expect probably the small forwards to be the ones kicking those sorts of goals, but the big fella just initially ran underneath it, but stood up quite nicely for him. Both teams with a goal early on to show here. So
game on here at North Hobart Oval. Both teams with a goal. Out of the middle by Geared towards half forward. It's a mark taken in defence by Collins. Plays on immediately around the back. Put his man Pepin under pressure. Bowden run him down. Play on advantage from the free kick. Kick inside by Daly wasn't his finest. It's immediately chopped off. And a big tackle laid. So normally a little better than that, Sam Collins, but he just sold his man Pepin into pressure, into danger, although Pepin probably shouldn't have been there. Up it goes, inside the Pies at forward 50, gathered off the pack by Roberts, handball forward, unable to be taken by Williams. Although it's been deemed as a throw. So he was tackled as he gained possession, didn't win a clean handball, and Glenorchy will kick for their second.
Yeah, just explaining his decision there, the umpire, not looked upon too favourably by the Demons defence there, but an opportunity for Joseph to go back and restore his side's lead. He'll kick from 25 out, just about straight in front. A fairly regulation shot here for Joseph. He strides in. It's straight through the middle as well. So good kicking early on here, and the Magpies grab their second of the afternoon.
Yeah, forward pressure, the key there. Huey Williams, the veteran in defence, just stripped of the footy, and the free kick came. So Glenorchy's 2 straight 12 lead by a single kick. North Hobart 1 straight, 7.5 gone first term. If you're just joining us, Jay Bowden's on the board. He kicked the first of the match. As we see a change in the ruck here for Glenorchy. Koppelman. He'll do the duties. So up they go, middle of the ground. Rundle just overrun it. Out to Geared again, who's had a lot of the ball early. High ball inside 50. Bowden charging at the footy. Affected the contest. Ball spills out towards the pocket. Collins will get there first. Had Grace to contend with. Got his handball away. And Williams again under siege. And it'll go out of bounds. Left forward pocket for Glenorchy. Doing the bulk of the attacking so far in this one. Bowden looks set, doesn't he?
looming large in this contest.
In it comes. Rucks go at it. Roberts read it best off the pack. Got boots a ball. 1-on-1 in the square. Bowden will rove his own footy. Try to just scramble one towards goal. A little ambitious perhaps from the champ. Unable to do so on that occasion. Hobart clear. Defensive 50, but only as far as Banks Smith, who got it off to Brennan. And he missed the mark as Arnold just sees it dribble over for another boundary throw-in.
Yeah, she's third game for the Magpies this year. Brennan, continuity's been a big problem for them. Just 4 players have played every game for them this year. It's been a tough season getting their best 22 out on the park, as this one's whacked forward, but coming on charging through was Menzie. And he's punched out on centre wing. And that'll just cue a mass change as everyone gets the opportunity. The ball's been out on the far side of the ground for most of this contest, so the rotation's being implemented there. Again, the ball comes in. One down decisively, but charging back through the other way was Randall. He smashes this one forward. 2-on-1 favouring the Demons. Defended pretty well from behind, and then it falls out the back, and a quick snap from Mott. It's bending back, and it's Mott who's kicked a wonderful goal for the Magpies. Reece Mott. They're taking their chances early, the Magpies. They're 3 straight 18. North Hobart, 1 goal straight 6. And that was something from nothing there.
Yeah, it certainly was. And North Hobart actually had a problem, as you were calling that stoppage. They had Aidan Grace for Glenorchy was all alone in the goal square. Jay Bowden drawing the 2 defenders, but it was Reece Mott who pounced and kicked the goal, and that is the quality of a Reece Mott, who didn't play on Wednesday night against Lauderdale. But Bowden, Mott and Joseph, 3 of their guns getting on the scoreboard here for Glenorchy, who get the early break. Sandrick out of the middle, got it off to Cunliffe, who sends North Hobart high inside 50. One-on-one contest to plenty here. On hands and knees was McCulloch. Players converge. Have a ball up. 30 metres out from the North Hobart goal. Scoreboard reads Glenorchy 3 straight 18. North Hobart 1 straight 6. Chance here for this second though. Reeves overran it. Hardy couldn't pick it up. Reeves will chase it towards the boundary. And out it goes for another boundary throw in.
Important player for this Demons side, Reeves. Secondary target behind the big fella Zobos is well back into play. Looking for a response here after the Magpies have kicked 3 on the trot. And there's going to be a ball up deep inside the forward 50. Players pushing up around the ground. Still largely 1-on-1. One spare half forward at the moment behind this stoppage for the Demons, and again it'll just be wrapped up. No one able to really get a decisive tap from these ruck contests at the moment. Largely just palming it straight back down to feet. This time they might explode away, but immediately wrapped up was Rainbird, and they're not going anywhere here, are we?
No, arm wrestle here inside forward 50 for the D's. Hardy palmed it down, roved his own work, tried to snap it over the shoulder. It was misguided. Glenorchy with a chance now to rebound out of defence, and that's exactly what they do. Good kick towards the wing. Bowden had enough of it. Mark is paid. He's a long way from home. So getting up the ground now is Jay Bowden, who started well in his final game. Goes one way then the other. Will send his team inside 50 here. It's a 2-on-1 though. Amy Shallon had to contend with a couple. Deegan kept it in for Glenorchy as players go to hands and knees. It'll be all wrapped up.
Good thing they stopped him there. Glenorchy had 2 players who just kind of snuck off the bench, streaming into the 50 in Geard and Joseph. Joseph was all alone in the goal square, but they managed to halt them, and there'll be another stoppage near the line here. Good forward pressure from both sides at the moment. Tackling well in their forward 50s, looking to lock the ball in. It's so often the avenue to goal in modern football. Just repeat entries, lock it in, get the pressure going. And the umpire has spotted something here. It's going the way of the Demons. A little hold spotted. A chance to launch from half back. Searching ball in the Dobbo's direction, but coming over the top was Cleary. To decisive spoil away.
So another boundary throw in. And it comes at left half forward for Glenorchy. Allen was decisive in the ruck. Eventually ended up with Rainbird. Got it off to a teammate. Glenorchy inside 50. Big fist came from McGuinness.
So the Magpies looking to find goal number 4 here. Piece of ruck work immediately besieged, trying to work his way through. They'll sprint it out the side there. Sandrick, his kick up is just about marked by Dobos, but taken away from him by Deegan. Then chipped and all on his own, storming to the 50 is Banks Smith. And is he off? No, he'll go back and take his set shot. Ryan Banks Smith. Just far too much space afforded to him. And a good chance here, and the way they've been kicking thus far, you'd back him in. No real win factor out there. And all the kicks for goal have been straight through the middle. So Ryan Banks Smith strides in. He'll kick from 40. This one's hooked a little bit. And the first behind of the day, it's Glenorchy 3-1-19, North Hobart 1 straight 6.
So immediately out of fullback, Williams looking for Kilpatrick, who just worked his man underneath. It did pretty well to rove the footy. Got it off to Menzie, who was streaming past. His kick is a shocker. It'll end up in black and white hands. But the kick from Blowfield was affected, and it spills out of bounds.
A long way from where I reckon they'd want Menzie to be getting the ball.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. So boundary throw in. Glenorchy with the better of this first term so far, but North Hobart can kick goals quickly. Sandrick out of the congestion. Nice handball up to Charlton. He got it off to a teammate. Kick inside 50 was picked up by Brennan for the Pies. They'll work it out by hand here. Rainbird on the end of the chain. Kick towards a wing. Somewhat misguided, but Nicholson did pretty well. Mott in the congestion. Out to Geared. Now it's Joseph. Through the middle of the ground here. The Pies. Kick towards half forward is a good one to Daly. So Daly with a little chip over the top to guess who? Jay Bowden on the lead. So Bowden, he's going to run around his man inside 50 from 45 metres out. That's why he's one of the greats of all time. Sets sail and kicks an absolute beauty.
It is shaping as the Jay Bowden farewell party here at North Hobart. What a goal that is. Just decided to take the man on the mark on. Burnt him off. Set sail for home. Another lovely kick. 2 goals in the first quarter for that man. And you get the sense this could be a huge, huge day. As he said, rested midweek, didn't play that game. Just set himself here for the last place Demons and could well feast upon them this afternoon, I think, Jay Bowden.
Anybody else does that, then we are screaming from the rooftops, aren't we? But Jay Bowden does it. It's regulation, par for the course. Just a wonderful finisher, and that is what the competition is going to miss for years to come. A Jay Bowden special from 45, and Glenorchy looking to go again here, although there's been a whistle. Middle of the ground. It'll be a Glenorchy footy. So Joseph here will pump it long inside 50 again. Jay Bowden's underneath it, got hands to it. Brought it to ground. He'll eventually get it and feed a teammate outside of the right boot. Ball here. A little too hot. Out it comes. Pepin receives the handball. Doesn't have much to go to. Takes on his man in Banks Smith. Did pretty well. Took a bounce. Was cleaned up. Lost control of the footy. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Good awareness there, though, realising he needed to take the bounce. It wasn't an ideal moment, but didn't have anything on ahead of him. Structuring up behind the ball well. Deegan wins it down, then looks to win his own ball. They'll pile on top of him, and it'll be another stoppage on the 50-yard. Big man Deegan having a bit of an influence on this one. Here's the Pies ruckman there. winning the clearance battle for now. This one's knocked nicely into space, picked up there by Rainbird. Good tackle, though, was laid by Goodsill. And it'll be a throw-in. Again on half forward. Rainbird just unable to take advantage of some nice ruck craft there from Big Deegan, who's up against Ireland in this duel. And again, he wins it down, and again, he'll go for his own ball. Dumping tackle there was a strong one. And plenty of stoppages, the order of the day early on, but it's the Magpies doing the bulk of the attacking, looking well on top here. And the Prince of KG5's final TSL bow. This one's force forward, should favour Hugh Williams down there, and he takes a good mark. Leads the team for intercept marks, and that was dicey. They've invited some danger here, ran straight into another tackle. They'll do well to clear it. In the end, Finlay Pope should be able to clear the area, and he does just that, heads down the line. And a good result after what loomed as a bit of a disaster there for a second.
You don't normally see Troy Cunliffe drop a little soda chest mark like that, but they did well to recover. Another boundary throw in here, right in front of the interchange benches. In it comes, deep into this first term. Spiked in the direction of the North Hobart forward line. Here's Charlton, scoops it up to Pepin. Kick over the shoulder, wanted Sandrick. Spiked over the line for another boundary throw in. So 4-1-25, Glenorchy. Jay Bowden has 2 of those. North Hobart 1 straight 6. 19 points the margin here at North Hobart Oval. Just looking an absolute picture as per usual in the Sunday sunshine. So Sandrick might have taken Rundle in the back. Umpire said no. Here's Reeves now for North Hobart. Just over the head of Norton inside 50. Glenorchy defence holding on here. Spills out to Boz. Wanted support. In fact, it was Allen. Managed to gather the footy, but the handball went over the line.
Magpies just running the spare defender at the moment. The Demons pushing the extra man up to the contest. Taken straight out of the ruck there by Banks Smith. But a free kick is going the way of the Demons. 55 from goal. He's going to turn and just stand it up for his forwards to attack. It was a poor kick, though. Didn't really give him a chance. And plenty of Magpies back. And this one chipped away in the Banks Smith direction. Couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Eventually he does. Works it forward to Callan Daly, who chips up the wing.
He's dominating.
He is. He's got it again. And he just sends it long inside 50. It's a good option. It's a good mark too. Great transition football there from the Magpies, and a great chance here for their 5th of the day. And Jay Bowden is just making things happen right now.
Well, he's kicked 2, and if this goes through from Aidan Grace, I think he's probably set up 2 or 3. So Aidan Grace for his first goal upon return to this team. And you would think from 25 metres out, no real angle to speak of. A player of this calibre would send it straight through the middle, and he does. So Aidan Grace, he kicks Glenorchy's 5th, and they are well and truly on top in this game. Some
real danger signs for the Demons right now. They do well just to get to quarter time without conceding another one and just try and come up with something. Because right now, it is all one-way traffic. Glenorchy look like scoring every time they go forwards. Jay Bowden having an absolute field day. I need to find a way to lock down on him. But teams have been saying that for well over a decade now, and no one really seems to have found a way to do it. So good luck to them. This one's one down, forward by Geared. Spoiled away, and the Demons should be able to sweep across half back here. Pepin got it across, and now some space on the wing, but no one really to kick to. Plenty of Magpies back there, picked up by Banks Smith. It's time to turn, assess his options, and then kick a pretty poor ball in the end, which favoured Menzie, who gets back and spoils it out of play.
You know a forward's on as well when they're getting up the ground and taking marks and wheeling around and kicking deep inside 50 as well as kicking goals. And that's exactly what Bowden's doing. As he sits deep forward, we'll wait for a kick out of the congestion here as his teammates fight for it. Pepin holding the ball, holding the man free kick. Will go the way of Charlton against Geared. So Charlton, middle of the ground. Dicey, but finds the target in Menzie. They haven't had much of this, North Hobart. Just kick mark. Menzie goes toward half forward Deegan, the ruckman, with the fist. It's gathered by McCulloch. The handball is out of bounds. So 5-1-31, Glenorchy, North Hobart 1 straight 6, 24 minutes gone first term.
It's a good point you raised. The normal MO is ball control, chip it round, try and possess the football, but right now they're just not getting their hands on it. It's the Magpies firmly on top. When they are able to force a stoppage, Glenorchy are just rolling that extra defender back and they're shutting it down things pretty well as the siren sounds to end a dominant first quarter here for the Glenorchy Magpies. The J. Bowden farewell day. He's off to a very good start indeed. He scored 2, set up another, running absolutely right here at North Hobart. And the hosts, well, they're going to have to turn things around pretty quick or this could get ugly.
Spot on, Drewy. The quarter has belonged to Glenorchy and to Bowden. He has 2. Matt Joseph, Reese Mott and Aidan Grace have singles for the Pies, while Julian DeBoz is the single goal kicker for North Hobart. And they just got blitzed, didn't they? An opening salvo, and Bowden kicking the first goal was the worst case scenario for the Demons.
Just fired him up.
He kicked his first goal with what might have been his first touch, and from then on tore the quarter apart. He was getting up the ground, he was marking the footy up on the wing, and gee, I'm feeling a little bit for his opponent, young Bailey Walker at the moment, who has his hands full, that's for sure. You wonder if a change will come or whether or not they'll stick with Walker on Bowden.
Yeah, I think they might have to look at a change, but do they have anyone else really? I mean, it's a pretty tough matchup, and I suppose they might persevere for a little while longer, but right now, if they don't lock down on him, he's going to just take this game away from them before they're ever really in it.
And you might plug that hole, but then the Aidan Grace cork might just pop open and he might get on the end of a few as well. So Glenorchy 5-1-31, North Hobart 1 straight 6. The Pies with the better of the first term, well and truly here at North Hobart Oval. Jay Bowden has 2 in his farewell match. We might take a short break and be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. It is the TSL live stream. Glenorchy taking on North Hobart at North Hobart Oval. Second quarter action about to get underway here at North Hobart Oval, where Glenorchy hold a 25-point lead over North Hobart, the home team. They're 5-1-31. North Hobart 1 straight 6. 5-1 first term. It saw Jay Bowden kick the first of the match in his farewell game, and he chipped in with another as well. So the challenge now with the Demons. Can they get a hot start out of the middle here? Rainbird will get the first clearance for the Pies towards the commentary wing. Here's Joseph. Left foot ball inside 50 was a bullet. But Bowden on this occasion, his efforts were foiled by Bailey Walker, who has a job ahead of him for the rest of this game. But it's not beyond him. He has the 2 to his name, Bowden, and there's a long way to go. So out of the ruck, Allen, straight down to a teammate. Pepin went in hard. Have another stoppage.
It's really done by Walker at that last contest, but really great forecraft from Bowden, just keeping the space in front of him free to lead into as this one's one down. And good pressure applied, but charging through was Rainbird. Demons defence swarms, and they're able to just wrap that one up. As Rainbird looked like he was about to burst out the back.
Well, he almost could have got a little kick on goal there. He broke a tackle, and then it unexpectedly almost, it was mid-handball.
He might have been better off going the shot, as immediately besieged there it was Collins, a young draft prospect. Space has been at a premium in the Four Darks so far today. Allen wins it down, but it's going to favour the Magpies. Quick snapshot, bending back. Oh. Just palmed through. Nearly a miraculous goal from Joseph, who kicked one in the first quarter. And that would have been spectacular.
It was on line. Straight up the middle of the ground here, North Hobart from the kick in. They'll get away with it as they work it through hands. Cunliffe got it off to Williams. Kick inside 50 now. Can they get the first goal of the term? The Demons. Willis scooped it up with class. Threw it on the boot. Kick towards goal. Nobody home. And through it goes. So North Hobart draw first blood in the second term. And they needed to as well. Sean Willis gets on the board. He has his first. Much needed goal for the D's, and they start this term in pretty good fashion.
Yep, bit of dash and dare off half back and just cut through the centre square there. It wasn't the cleanest build-up you'll ever see, but they made it work, and that's what they're going to need to do to get back into this game. Trailing by 26 points heading into this second term. They needed to take the game on, be a little bit more aggressive, and they do so there. They're going to have to play with an element of dare and risk about them moving forward. Allen beating Deegan on this occasion, but once again it's the Magpies who take it forward. Swinging kick, little push there from Kilpatrick. Got away with it though, and he lays a really strong tackle. Rainbird trying to get it forward. The man on the ground's just about marked that.
Guess who it is?
Guess who?
It's Jay.
Things are just happening around this man today. Could be quite the script of his final game, I think.
Well, there's looking for Jay, and then there's looking for Jay, isn't there? That was maybe a little ridiculous. Geared, fed out the handball to Rundle. Oh. That's a nice mark taken by Kilpatrick. In the one mitt, he goes short. Collins. So Collins. Driving ball up the line. Allen was the tallest man there. Couldn't bring it down. Banksmith rode a tackle and broke free. Kick into the middle of the ground. Looking for Joseph. Couldn't hang on. Caswell there for the D's. Two Pies fight after it. Daly and Joseph. Sandrick just puts the head down and tries to bustle his way through. Eventually comes out to Norton. He's wrapped up by Geared.
Plenty of pressure being applied on the ball carrier in this one. Crucial moments in the game here for North Hobart. They need to string a couple of goals together and get themselves back into it. Sandrick swung this one out wide, and Charlton just running out of real estate on the wing over there. But if they could string 2 or 3 goals together, work their way back into the contest. But if Glenorchy get too far out ahead here with Jay Bowden playing the way he is and the real sense in this Glenorchy group that they want to send him off right, it's going to be very, very tough. And they'll go inside 50. Once again, it's a dangerous ball. Spoiled into the middle of the 50 arc. Slightly suspect tackle there from Williams, but just released at the right moment. Gets away with it and there'll be a ball up. Hugh Williams down there. Allen to compete with Deegan. 40 from goal. Plenty of space in front of Bowden at the top of the square. They've left that occupied for him, but the Demons will win the clearance. And can they get some counter-attacking going here through Cunliffe? They send it wide, and suddenly the play opening right up for them. A long ball in the Dobbo's direction, taken away from him by Cleary. Dobbo's fighting on and gets his kick away, and he's snapped home from the pocket. That's a great goal from the big fella. He's second of the day. Beats Cleary, all ends up. And they've got 2 in a row and just starting to work their way back in here. It's opportunistic. They've not had a lot of the play, but they've got 2 goals to show for it.
Back to 14 points, and DeBoz has kicked 2 goals that you'd expect from a forward pocket rather than a 6'5" full forward.
Showing some guile and some dexterous play, the big man.
He certainly has, and you were right. Cleary had him beat over the back, but DeBoz kept working and managed to trap the footy and get boots a ball and slide through an opportunist goal. So game on here at North Hobart Oval. The D's have the first 2 and a chance for a third as they attempt to work it out the middle of the ground. Allen, the big ruckman, fed it out wide. It bobbles around. He was looking for Caswell. It was a throw.
Yeah, pretty clear throw. Good decision from the umpire there.
Mott will take the free kick. See something he likes immediately out on a wing. The helmeted Banks Smith marks and gets things going. Bowden leading up. Takes the chest mark with a flourish. Inside 50 he goes. A spear kick to Grace, who just was intercepted at the last moment. Might have been Williams who got down and did the defending. It was last gasp and it worked because it'll force a stoppage out at right half forward for Glenorchy, but that was a bullet pass to Grace, and they're the 2 you don't want linking up if you're a North Hobart supporter. Up it goes. Rainbird forced into the ruck, and it is off his hand, out of bounds. Still at right half forward. Glenorchy 5-2-32. North Hobart 3 straight 18. 7 minutes gone. Second term. D's with the first 2 of this second term. Trailed by 25 at quarter time. Allen Rose got it down to Sandrick, who sends a high ball into the middle of the ground. Good mark coming out from Cleary. Fed off the handball immediately. Little chip pass here for the Pies. Retreating though. Gee, missed the mark. Arnold was the target. He's got a battle now with Menzie, who gathers the footy. Cuts inside, and really smart play to find a target inside 50. Jai Menzie could have blazed away with nobody at home. But McCulloch found himself in the hole and received the short kick. And he'll kick for North Hobart's 3rd of the term and 3rd straight.
Just tuning in, there's no hurricane-type winds to this end of the ground. It's all the scoring being done from here.
This had cut the margin to 8 points. Leans back on the kick. Distance was not a worry at all, but it'll just slide across the face for a minor score.
Missed opportunity to punish a fairly sloppy turnover from Arnold there. It was a poor handball. Really left them exposed back the other way, but they dodged that bullet and to take it out from the back. Everyone pushing up the ground here. There is absolutely nobody forward at the moment for the Magpies. Plenty of space out behind if they can work it there. That's a risky kick though, and straight to McCulloch. He'll turn and he'll spear one in. A low little worm burner though. Trying to get rid of it was Willis, and it slews off the side of his boot. Now to play. And another just missed opportunity to punish a Glenorchy error there from North Hobart.
Pressure's back on the Pies here, isn't it? North Hobart accepting the challenge that was thrown down. And it's inside their forward 50 once again. Rainbird again forced into the ruck here against Hardy. Pepin was at the front of the pack, couldn't bring it under his spell. It's still in play. Joseph did well, got it on the outside to Mott. He just bombed it forward and looking for distance. Here's Walker. Looks like he's been maybe made the move onto Grace.
Starting to see the likes of Sandrick and Cunliffe come into this game a little more for the Demons. They're key movers in midfield, especially Sandrick. I mean, they had 28 touches last time these two teams met, so doesn't mind playing the Magpies. Deegan wins that one down. Charlton couldn't quite control it and forward by Rainbird, but gaining only a few metres before it rolls on out of play once more. They've started to do a little bit better in the midfield battle in this squad of the Demons, and that's led to them getting on the scoreboard. But early leap there allowed Deegan to palm it down. Once again, we taken away. Williams had his kick spoiled. He'll get another crack at it though. Picks up, tries to fend off, and he's surely gone. Bit off more than he could chew there, the big key defender. And a chance now for the Magpies. Quickly taken, squares it up. They're looking in the Bowden direction. Three North Hobart players attack the ball. Not a lot of communication there. Joseph with the quick snap. And just offline. But the Demons, all three players flying at the ball there. A bit more talk needed.
Yes, communication key. Not punished on this occasion. Out of defence it comes. So, big kick in the Walker direction. DeBoz was there as well. It got down to McCulloch. DeBoz kept on coming. Eventually won the footy and got North Hobart forward. Job now for Koppelman. Had to put his head over it. Did so. He'll take possession of the footy. It'll spill out though. Cunliffe to Menzie. Looks at his man, burns him off. DeBoz kept running forward, takes an easy chest mark in the goal square. North Hobart have their third of the term, and the Demons on a rampage here at North Hobart.
And DeBoz has his third of the day. He is looming large right now. We spoke about Glenorchy and how Bowden's dominance was allowing them to dominate. And at the other end, it's suddenly Glenorchy with the problem, and they might need to look at a match-up shift. Because right now, the big fella is just doing as he wills. He sensed the chance, stormed off out the back there.
Well, he was
Joe the Goose.
He was the target for the kick out at half back, and then won the footy on the wing, and then kept going, and eventually ended up on the end of it in the goal square. So, elite running from DeBoz, and he gets his third. Glenorchy in the middle of the ground, and that's holding the ball. Chance again for the D's here. Pepin tried to tap it to the advantage of Cunliffe. Had his handball affected. Reeves went in hard on Mott. They fight for it. Rundle at ground level. His handball misdirected. They emerge with it again here, the D's. Cunliffe's kick. Couldn't quite find a teammate. Away they come off half back through Arnold. Short ball, Bowden. Has lost his man. Wheels around from 50. Sends it towards goal. Was there a hand on it? I don't think there was. Bowden kicks another. He has his third. And the Prince is firing up here at North Hobart Oval just when his Pies needed him to do so.
How do you leave Jay Bowden in that much space at the top of the 50 arc? Afforded way too much room. I think his defender just cheating off the back of him, and you just cannot leave him that isolated.
I think he might have even snuck on. I think he was on the bench, and he might have even snuck on and somehow just eluded a defender.
That's got to be priority number one. So Bowden v Dobbo's here, the shootout, 3 goals apiece. And Glenorchy, they needed that one because they were under siege so far in the second quarter. All the momentum was going the way of the Demons as Big Deegan takes it out of the centre and lofts that one forward. Another good mark there by Kilpatrick. And he's played on. That was ill-advised. And they've made a bit of a meal of this. And in the end, it'll be a throw in. But a couple of good intercept marks today from Kilpatrick. Very important to their rebound game, but it's just a little eager to get things moving there. The ball thrown back in once more. Taken by Reeves. And ball back to Poke. And play the 1-2 and now look to switch it up. It was an ugly looking kick. They do have numbers out here on this side though, the Demons, as it rumbles and tumbles. Joseph doing well. Williams kept it in though, and they've made it work. It wasn't pretty, but they can surge forward now through McCulloch. He swings this one deep. Good defence by the Pies. Good strength shown there by Hardy, and he sends it to the top of the square. The big men will fly. That's a great mark there by Jai Menzie. Good hands, great attack. It was a nice ball from Big Hardy. Just set it up for him. And a good mark there by young Menzie. And a chance for a quick response here. And, well, it wasn't the prettiest build-up from half-back, but they've looked pretty good in this quarter, moving the ball a lot quicker. They've got the ball
transitioning nicely into the forward line off defence. They're taking the game on. It's not always been the cleanest work, but they're being repaid for their risks. And Menzies misses one he simply had to have. And that's a real let-off for the Magpies, that.
Gee, they did all the hard work. Menzies took a great mark deep, just had to finish. He's a talented player. On this occasion, unable to do so. But there's still a chance here, the Ds, as Arnold's kick into the middle of the D50. Found Rundle on the bounce, and gee, they've forced a turnover here, North Hobart, as it goes out of bounds, an errant kick from the goal square. We'll have a boundary throw in. So still a chance here, the Ds. 13 points the margin. They've reeled it in a touch and have dominated this quarter. Right forward pocket here, North Hobart. In it comes. Hardy and Koppelman do the ruck work. Koppelman took it straight out of the ruck and got some meterage. Kick outside of defensive 50. Gee, really nicely done here by McGuinness, who just went outside of the right boot in the Sandrick direction. Won it out to Charlton. High ball inside 50. One-on-one battle. Might have been a free kick. Umpire said no. Still they fight for it on the outer side. Menzies there. Daly spinning out of trouble. Sandrick. Mott really clean at ground level. Got his kick away, but McGuinness chops it off.
Starting to take a hold of this one, the Demons, and they'll drive inside 50 again. Chips it up to half forward. From 55, he'll just stand this one up. Big fella Hardy was there, and a push has been spotted by the umpire. And it's going the way of the Magpies. Penalised there, big Nathan Hardy. He's equal leading goal kicker for his side. Second for contested marks, as this one's chipped in the Rainbird direction. It's been prominent so far this afternoon for the Magpies. Sends this one along looking for Callan Daly. Does well to track that one down. Looks up and he sees Bowden making a lead, so of course that's where you head, and it's a lovely pass and a good sliding chest mark taken by the Prince. Who's
got Sam Collins for company now.
Yeah, that's a tasty matchup, that one. He'll just stand this one into the pocket, searching for Grace, and there'll be a throw in. But yeah, it looks like they've pulled the trigger there after goal number 3, and probably a move that had to be made given the start he's made.
So right forward pocket here for Glenorchy. Grace will do the ruck work, tried to take it out, had Allen for company. Sandrick at ground level, gathered the footy, sent a high ball towards the middle of the ground. Players will fight after it. Willis will get there first, had Deegan to contend with. His handball eventually found Rundle, who just emerged from the traffic. He released Rainbird. Kick towards half forward now for Glenorchy. Inside 50 it goes, and there is Collins coming across with the fist. See it out of bounds.
They will lose a little bit by not having Collins playing that interceptor role where he can just drift across like he did that contest quite so much, having to stand next to Bowden, but certainly might be capable of shutting him down in the air as Allen won that one down. The handball out for Williams, had his pocket picked, and smothered there was Daly's kick. The Demons should be able to clear Finlay Polk's kick. A pretty good one, and once again the counter-attack is on. They've been pretty dangerous doing this half. That's a lovely kick to Reeves' advantage. These skies are pretty ugly up and under. He might get his own ball. I'm not sure he meant it, but it'll work. Reeves looks to take his man on. Went to Hardy. Hardy used him as a decoy. Handball back inside. Shrugging the tackle as Pepin, and Pepin misses to the right. Would have been a good goal, but they've missed another one, and a couple they should have kicked here, the Demons.
Two of their young guns. He did everything right again. Pepin broke the tackle. Got himself some clear space. That's a bad miss by Rainbird at the top of the 50. Did well to just soccer in the Deegan direction. Caswell ended up with the footy. Got it to Sandrick. He went to the ruckman and Allen. He eventually won out a handball. Polk took on the tackler. Got his handball out to Cunliffe. He fooled his man. Went inside 50. Fired on goal and hit the post.
The Breeze just took that one at the last moment. Cunliffe, who's had a good quarter. And the Demons back in 11 points. They're closing the gap, but they probably should be closer, really. They've squandered some pretty good opportunities in the second quarter. They're well on top, and a vastly different game to the first quarter. So Bowden a long way from home here. He turns and sends this one down the wing. It's a pretty good looking kick though. All on his own there was Dilger. Chipped it back inside for Mott. Kicked a goal in the first quarter, Reece Mott. Bit of indecision here. Opts to handball sideways instead, and Arnold ran into trouble. It'll be a ball in only. But just a little bit stagnant with their ball movement all of a sudden, the Magpies, and it's the Demons who are playing the free-flowing football that we saw in the first quarter. From Glenorchy, this game has done a real 180 in this quarter.
So in from the boundary throw-in. North Hobart first hands to it. Charlton with the kick towards half forward. Pack forms, nobody able to take the mark. That's seen over by Norton. So of North Hobart's last 5 scoring shots, 4 have been misses. But they have kicked 3 goals to 1 in this term. It could be even closer if Pepin and Menzies made the most of their very, very gettable chances. Not to be though, but here they go again, the D's. Ball eludes Cunliffe. Here's Joseph, who was just knocked off his kick as he went to kick, and it's holding the ball. So inside forward 50 it goes. Kick was in the DeBoz direction, but couldn't quite get there. The big man who has 3 to his name. A shootout looming between him and Jay Bowden. 3 each. The 2 star forwards in this game. One of them, of course, playing their final match in the State League. D's hoping to spoil the farewell party. And it comes off the boot of Pepin inadvertently. Out of the congestion was Reeves, who fired on goal. A right foot snap outside of the boot. Drifts across the face and he's knocked over for a behind.
Yeah, would have done well to steer that one through Reeves. The Magpies would probably take half time if it was offered to them. It can't be too far away here as we tick towards 22 minutes played. Shortened quarters, of course. That's another really ugly turnover off half back, just gifting it to them. And a relieving mark taken there. The pressure really, really starting to build on the Magpies. They're struggling out of half back, and they fare a little better this time. It's a long kick in the Bowden direction, who ducks down looking for the high tackle, didn't get it, and then he slung and dispossessed. That's a really good tackle there. Nice work there from the big fella. And first time today, Bowden's had his colours lowered at all. The umpires spotted something off the ball here. It'll be a free kick to Sandrick. Getting some attention off the ball there from Joseph, I think. He's the Demons now from centre wing. Sending it long was Willis. It's a wide kick that didn't really favour his forwards. Coming across was Meredith to steer that one out of play. The Demons would love another goal here just before half time. Their play has probably deserved it. Glenorchy 10 points ahead, but they've been firmly on the back foot in this second quarter. A real tale of 2 quarters so far. As swung in, Hardy looked to take it out of the ruck, fumbled it though, and just allowed in geared. Back it goes, and there was Arnold for the Magpies. Sweeps the handball. They should be able to clear out the far side of the ground. Banks Smith trucking this one down. And this is where they've hit a wall in this second quarter, and again he looks up. Doesn't see too much to go to, so sends it down the line. It's a 3v2 in favour of the Demons, and Williams slaps that one out of play.
Yeah, you're right. They have broken down across that part of the ground, the Pies. The forward pressure from the Ds and around the contest as well. You mentioned Sandrick and Cunliffe lifting. They've been pretty good this term. Rucks go out at Deegan and Island. It comes out to Mott, who gets his kick away as the siren sounds. Glenorchy, 6-3-39. They still hold the advantage, but only by 10 points. North Hobart, 4-5-29. They made really good ground in that second term. They kicked 3 goals to 1, but they had a chance to really inflict some hurt. They had had 6 scoring shots, and of those 6 scoring shots, they kicked 5 behinds. 2 of them very, very gettable goals for the Demons. For the Demons, well, Julian DeBoz, he has 3. And Sean Willis has 1. Glenorchy, Jay Bowden has 3 as well. Joseph, Grace and Mott, the singles. So a really interesting affair unfolding here at North Hobart Oval. The J. Bowden farewell game. He's playing a blinder so far. He has 3 first half goals, 2 in the first, 1 in the second. But at the other end, it's Julian DeBoz leading the Demons, who just made up some ground in that second term. They trail by 10 points going into the main break here at North Hobart Oval. It's the Pies 6-3-39, North Hobart 4-5-29. We might take a short half-time break before bringing you all the second half action in just a few moments.
They'd have done the building right, dropped it down one way, so they come out of that main room, drop it down so when you stand there, you can see over the same thing, but it's down at least, past the light pole. That was about because with the wet area at the bar. Playing everyone else, still good. Yeah, the bloke did. Go together. They go to Vegas. They like that big football ground. That's how. I was over there too. He stopped, turned, and looked at the other one. He's following on. Oh,
You'd back him in from here too. 45 metres out. He loved it as soon as it left the boot. And look at the Magpies get around their champ. They come from all corners of the ground.
Just about straight in front. A fairly regulation shot here for Joseph. He strides in. It's straight through the middle as well. So good kicking early on here, and the Magpies grab their second of the afternoon.
Yeah, Daly with a little chip over the top to guess who. Jay Bowden on the lead. Bowden is going to run around his man inside 50 from 45 metres out. That's why he's one of the greats of all time. Sets sail and kicks an 5 metres out. No real angle to speak of. A player of this calibre would send it straight through the middle, and he does. So Aiden Grace, he kicks Glenorchy's 5th, and they are well and true. The Demons. Willis scooped it up with class, threw it on the boot, kicked towards goal, nobody home, and through it goes. So North Hobart draw first blood in the second term. They needed to as
taken away from him by Cleary. It's almost fighting on and gets his kick away, and he snapped home from the pocket. That's a great goal from the big fella. He's second of the day. Beats Cleary, all ends up. And they've got 2 in a row and just started.
Job now for Koppelman. Had to put his head over it. Did so. Take possession of the footy. It'll spill out though. Cunliffe to Menzie. Looks at his man. Burns him off. DeBoz kept running forward. Takes an easy chest mark in the goal square. North Hobart have their 3rd of the term. And the Demons on a rampage here at North Hobart. Short ball. Bowden. Lost his man, wheels around from 50, sends it towards goal. Was there a hand on it? I don't think there was. Bowden kicks another. He has his 3rd. And the Prince is firing up here at North Hobart Oval. Welcome back to North Hobart Oval, where we have a game on our hands here. Tasmanian State League action. Glenorchy 6-3-39 lead North Hobart 4-5-29, a 10-point advantage. It was 25 points at the first change, but North Hobart kicked 3 goals to 1 in the second term to reel it in by 15, and certainly looked the better team. The question is, can they roll on with it? Julian DeBoz has 3 for the home team. Sean Willis has the other. But for Glenorchy, it's Jay Bowden in his farewell match. He has 3 majors. Matt Joseph, Reece Mott and Aiden Grace have a goal each. A really good game unfolding. It really opened up in the second term. How are you seeing it, Andrew Cooling? What needs to happen here for North Hobart to get on top and to take the chocolates at the end of this second half?
Well, I think they've just got to keep going about the game the way they did in that second quarter, which was with some dash off half back. They really opened the game up, hit them on the outside and ran them off their legs at times. It wasn't always the prettiest ball movement, but once they got the game played at a higher tempo, they really got on top of this one in the second quarter.
Glenorchy, by contrast, they just couldn't clear the half-back line for large parts of that second quarter. It was stagnant, it was slow build-up, and really, the game was entirely on the Demons' terms. But as ever, started in the midfield, and both teams have probably had a quarter where they've won the centre clearance battle, and that's kind of translated into success up the field.
And we saw the move made, didn't we? Bailey Walker started on Jay Bowden. He kicked 2 early ones in that first term, but then Sam Collins, the interceptor, went to stand Jay Bowden. It looks like that's what will happen in this second term as well as they make their way to their position. So interesting tactics there. He did a pretty good job, actually, second half of that second term, Sam Collins.
Yeah, a bit less supply, but certainly won a couple of contests, so it'll be interesting to see if that continues here as Allen and Deegan prepare to compete once more. It's been a good ruck duel, that one this afternoon. Rainbird sends this one forward for the Magpies, and Williams doing some good defending, just dropped that, got away with it. Question asked, but play allowed to continue. Rainbird again, ugly looking ball in there, and Allen picks it up and just swings it long into the middle of the ground. Arnold competing up there with Cunliffe, spilled out wide, and the umpire has spotted a throw. It'll be a Demons ball in the middle of the ground going to Cunliffe, and he was one of those players who really upped their game in the second quarter. Started to get his hands on the ball a bit, and he sends them inside 50 here. Dobos will be the target. He kicked 3 in the first half, and a couple of them coming with some good ground level work. He wants the high tackle here, and he gets it. So an early opportunity for the Demons to cut the margin to 4 points. He made sure the umpire saw that one, Rowie.
He threw the head back just a touch. Mitch Rainbird is not a big man. And the arm slid up, and Julian DeBoz nuked it for all it was worth. But he will kick for his 4th. And a big kick here.
It's been a shootout between he and Bowden today. 3 goals apiece, but looming as the match winners for their respective sides. The defence seemingly with an answer for them. So can he pick up right where he left off in the first half? Julian DeBose, he kicked 3. He'll kick from 35. Makes the umpire work, but he puts it through the middle, and it's back to 4 points the difference. It's been a great fight back this from the Demons. And Glenorchy now leading by just 4, and probably fortunate to be leading given some of the misses that the Demons had in that second quarter, Rowie.
Yeah, absolutely. The Demons had the better of the second term. There's no doubt about that. They kicked 5 behinds to go with their 3 goals. So 2 of them of which were very, very gettable. The Pepin and Menzies misses should have been goals for the Ds. But a 4-point ball game here at North Hobart. Glenorchy led by as many as 25 at the first change. But North Hobart have come rocketing back into contention. Back in the middle here. Allen won it down. Reeves will get there first for North Hobart. Tried to break the Banksmith tackle. Cries of ball on deaf ears. Rainbird got the kick out of the congestion. It falls into the arms of Dilger for the Pies. Back to Rainbird now by hand. He gives it to the ruckman in Deegan. Tumbler inside 50. Daly couldn't bring it down. Williams had a job to do. Bowden was ripped off it. He might have thrown it. Umpire said no. Was running past to receive the handball, but it's going to be all locked up. Daly with the footy claimed in a Williams tackle. We'll have a ball up. 35 metres out from the Glenorchy goal. They still lead this one. North Hobart have dominated the last portion of this match. Tumbler outside defensive 50. Cunliffe on the end of it. Got it off to a man in Norton. Kick forward now for the Ds. One-on-one battle. DeBoz and Cleary. Can DeBoz get access to the footy? Cleary got there first. Was just searching for the boundary. We've got a whistle. There might have been a little bit of holding taking place on Cleary, who wins this battle this time. He's had a hard day at the office with DeBoz working up and down the ground and kicking 4 majors to boot as the kick goes out of bounds on the outer side in front of the George Miller stand. Glenorchy lead by 4 points, 6-3-39. North Hobart 5-5-35. Early stages in this third term. If you're just joining us, Jay Bowden farewell game, of course. He has 3 to his name and he's been very, very good, especially early. Quietened down a touch with some positional moves made, but certainly having an influence as we have another boundary throw in.
He's deep full forward at the moment, is Bowden. He's pushed up the ground on a few occasions today.
set up a couple of goals as well as the 3 that he's kicked. And Magpies will win this clearance. Ugly up and under ball. Who wants it? It's going to be marked there. The Demons have done a pretty good job kind of setting up this wall at midfield and intercepting. It's been pretty tough for Glenorchy to move the ball forwards after quarter time. Long searching ball and couldn't quite be reeled in down there, and eventually the Magpies will take it away. Rainbird has been prominent this afternoon. He gets another disposal here. He's had it on a string for Glenorchy. As a holding man free kick spotted there, and again they just cannot get it past this section of the field. Slightly dicey handball for Sandrick, who runs around and just chips one straight up in the air. Deegan with an attempted spoil. Didn't get much purchase on it. That one bouncing over the head. Unfortunate it did so, but now finding himself under pressure is Brennan. He skews this one out for Banks Smith, and he looks up. He's only really got one option, and that was Matthew Joseph. Picked him out ahead of his opposite number, and he sends it further down the line. It was a poor kick. Didn't really give Dilger a play on it, and out for a throw in. Well, no, the umpire has spotted something.
There was just a little bit of retaliation there from Norton. Maybe a free kick to Dilger, who kicks in the Bowden direction. He's got a couple of Ds to contend with. Did well enough to force a contest. Cunliffe spinning out of trouble. Fed off a handball to Reeves. High ball now, middle of the ground. Punch came. Menzie on the end of it. He's been pretty lively today. Kick towards half forward. Going back, unable to take the mark. Might have been Byfield or Nicholson. Reeves got the kick inside 50. DeBoz is going to get on the end of another one here and have a shot for his 5th goal. So he is causing enormous headaches inside 50 for the Pies. Tight angle this. Will take a fairly skillful effort. We'll need to thread the needle, but extremely kickable.
The way he's playing today, you wouldn't bet against him.
Well, he's been kicking them like a small forward, hasn't he? His first 2 in particular. And you would think he'd put this one through as well. So this is for the lead for North Hobart. He pumps the fist as it sails through, and the fight back is complete. North Hobart take the lead here at North Hobart Oval as DeBoz kicks his 5th.
He is having a profound impact, and they need to find a way to stop him, and they need a way to find it. They've got to stop him soon, because it was looming as Jay Bowden's day early on. He kicked 3 goals. The Magpies were flying. He was looking like the story of the day, but it's a key forward at the other end of the ground who suddenly flipped the script, and it might not be the fairy tale send-off the Prince of KG5 was after, although maybe it's just setting it up so he can kick a match-winning goal later down the line. But really, since quarter time, it's been largely one-way traffic. Demons now really putting it on the scoreboard too. They've got the lead, and Pepin has the ball. He's immediately wrapped up. It's going to be holding the ball, in fact, just taking a little bit too long there. And Reese Mott will give it back there to Callan Daly. So can Daly spot a target inside the forward 50? He heads in the Bowden direction, who leaps, and that'll be a free kick as he just put the studs right in the back of the defender there. And whilst few things can be deemed unrealistic when that man attempts for the ball, I think we can say that was a fairly unrealistic attempt, as Reeves swings this one across half-back, and this is where they've really done the damage as the game has worn on. They're just tearing off half-back. Drop chest mark that he should have taken there, but momentum still with them as they swing it forward. Good fist down there. Eventually, Mott handballs it forward into the middle for Grace. He swings it to half forward, but they're just being picked off, and it was Hugh Williams on this occasion. Takes it, moves it quickly. Great transition football again. Caswell now will just stand one up to half forward. Ball in dispute. Handball. It's a good tackle from Brennan. He'll lock this one up. It'll be a ball up, but again, just sweeping off half back at the moment. The Demons playing with real speed and verve to their game right now.
27-point turnaround here at North Hobart Oval. Glenorchy led by 25 the first change, and now it's Hobart leading by 2. Kick out of the congestion from Koppelman will elude Rainbird as it bounces out of bounds in front of the George Miller. Boundary throw in here, so the Pies now to respond to the challenge. What have they got in the tank? In it comes. Copperman to do the ruck work here. It bounces down to Roberts. Now it was Daly off the ground, only as far as Pepin, though, who did really well to gather cleanly, ran his full measure, took a bounce and then tried to just craft something. Probably should have gone on his left foot. Poke couldn't bring it under his spell. Eventually did. Had support in Collins. Back to Pepin now. Kick towards half back. Bounces off the chest of a teammate. Reeves couldn't gather the footy cleanly. Banks Smith came crashing through. Crowd wanted holding the ball. Umpire said play on. Out to Brennan it goes. He got one high. Umpire said no. And that was about as high as they come.
Got decapitated.
And umpire happy to just let things unfold. Perhaps a little unlucky there. It was young Brennan for Glenorchy. Boundary throw in. Right in front of the Demons interchange bench. Here's Copperman and Ireland to do the ruck work. Copperman too strong, but deemed as a push. Ireland will get the free kick.
Tough minute there for Glenorchy with the umpires as this one's swung forward. Dangerous looking kick, spoiled though. But it's fallen nicely and here's a chance and he's going to snap home. It's Jai Menzies and they've extended their lead now. North Hobart out by 8 points. Everything is falling their way right now. That one's standing up for the youngster who's found himself slightly deeper forward in the third quarter after he pushed up the ground a little earlier. But he fires home. And Glenorchy just look like a side without a whole lot of answers right now.
They've kicked 6 of the last 7. Have North Hobart. And had 11 of the past 14 scoring shots. So it is raining red and blue here at North Hobart Oval. And Glenorchy will need to get their skates on if they are to celebrate their champion the way that they'd like to. Back in the middle we go. Out to Reese Mott. Cries of holding the ball. Umpire said play on. They continue to fight for it. Kick out of the congestion, only as far as a black and white jumper. And here's Banks Smith on the end of it. Links up with Reese Mott. Gets the 1-2. Streams up a wing. Bowden was at the back. Williams did well. Spiral into the middle of the ground. And Glenorchy are well set up. Mark is taken by Joseph, and that's a nice kick towards Roberts at left half forward. He'll turn and burn inside 50. Beautiful weighted pass to Jay Bowden. This is where he stands up for his team. He did so earlier in the game when they needed him to, and they need him even more here. So Jay Bowden for his 4th goal in his farewell game. He'll kick from right on the paint of 50. Distance won't be any trouble for this man. He sends it long towards goal. It's missing on this occasion. A minor score for the Pies.
Yeah, just got under that one a little bit, did Bowden. They need a spark here. Glenorchy in attack right now. They're being monstered all around the ground. You can see the Demons' intent is just to play on at all costs, get the ball moving forwards. They do so again here. Handball centrally from McCulloch. Just forced to retreat was Willis. He runs into a swarm of Magpies, but eventually he's able to send it out wide. Poor kick though. Brennan able to intercept. Didn't quite step off his mark. He's been heavily involved in the game, Brennan, as he swings this one forward. Spoil from behind. Soccer off the ground. Went nowhere. The Demons eventually recapture it. And Sandrick, see, he's recovered. He was hobbling down on the bench a couple of minutes ago. They quickly play on. Swings it forward again. Dobos is the man here. It falls out the back. Jai is just about there, but coming through was Hardy. And Hardy was surely tackled without the football. And the umpire with a simple decision to make. That's just ill-disciplined from the Magpies. And a great chance for Nathan Hardy to go back and extend their lead to 13 points. They are dominating this contest right now, the home side. Glenorchy, who jumped them a 25-point lead at quarter time. They've pretty much come to a crashing halt since then. And a big chance here for big Nathan Hardy to kick what should be a fairly regulation goal. He comes in from the angle and sends it right through the middle. It's yet another one. It's 13 points to lead. And the Magpies desperately need to find a way to stem the bleeding here, Owie.
They are piling on the goals. That's their 4th of the term. And they are well and truly on top here at North Hobart Oval, the Demons. They're playing inspired footy, and you mentioned it a couple of times, that bounce off half back. And then just panicky from the Glenorchy defence. Cleary has given away a couple. And the Demons have made him pay on a couple of occasions now. 8-5-53 the Ds. The Pies 6-4-40, 13 points the margin. Back in the middle, onus well and truly on Glenorchy now. They need to find something because, well, the last, you'd say the 2 full quarters just about have belonged to North Hobart well and truly. Kilpatrick now was dragged off his kick, cries of ball. High tackle.
Everything going the Demons' way right now.
It's the absolute rub of the green for the Demons. Kick towards half forward. Banks Smith arrives on the scene. He's been good for Glenorchy. Kick towards Bowden, and they've cottoned on here, the Demons' defence. They've got one in front of him. And Glenorchy perhaps a little Bowden conscious. Up it goes toward a wing now. Ireland couldn't quite bring it down. Cunliffe at the fall. Bustled his way through. Deemed to throw, but if he play on advantage here, Rundle, middle of KG5. Why they go now, Glenorchy. Joseph inside 50. Who can take a mark for the Pies? Gee, lurking was one of the
Callum Thompson.
youngsters in Thompson, who just dribbled one through, a goal out of nothing, and that could be the spark.
That's what they needed, something from nothing and something perhaps from someone other than Jay Bowden. As you mentioned, they're just doing a really good job at the moment, the Demons, just dropping someone into that 15, 20 metres in front of him, denying him the space that he was leading into so nicely in the first quarter. Suddenly, that's just not an option for them, so they're going to need to find another avenue to go, and the young teenager there, Callum Thompson, finding the goal to cut this game back to 7 points, the difference, and something against the run of play, because it had been all North Hobart in this quarter up until that point. Ireland and Deegan, neither ruckman able to win it decisively, though Deegan follows up. Ireland dumps him in a strong tackle, spills out, play allowed to continue by the umpire, and then a trip, I think, or contact below the knees perhaps, has been spotted. It'll be Cunliffe's ball on half back. Been impressive today, Troy Cunliffe. 3rd in the competition for hardball gets. He likes it when the whips are cracking and has really dug in today. That one bouncing out of play. Unfortunately for the home supporters who were thinking they might just see their man striding in on goal there, McCulloch.
Andrew throw in here. Right half forward for the Demons. And it comes again. Deegan tries to slap it forward. Ireland was just busy in the contest. Rainbird came through, couldn't gather the footy. Mott got boots a ball. Tumbler towards the wing. Here comes the goal scorer. Was unable to gather cleanly. Jaden Charlton was there. He went to ground. We'll have another stoppage. Still at right half forward here for North Hobart. Could lead this one by 7. The chips were down and they responded very, very nicely. Deegan just palms it in the direction of Rainbird, who got it off to Geared. High ball toward a wing, off hands. Cunliffe coming through again, been prominent. Reeves, handball over the top now to McGuinness, who just evades a tackler. Off to Sandrick. His handball missed the mark, but Reeve kept on coming. Kick inside 50. Ill direction now. Pies defence under siege. Kick out of the congestion. A snap-on goal is true. And the D's have another one.
Another one. And Glenorchy just cannot, seemingly, stop them. Every time they're going forwards, they're looking a threat. Oh, the Demons.
And it was young McCulloch who thought he was streaming in on goal a few minutes ago and eventually got his chance and took it.
So 13 points the difference. And Jay Bowden's farewell game here not going to script. It certainly appeared to be early on when he had 3 goals of their first 5 to set up a 25-point lead. But right now, The Demons are absolutely flying and flying off the bottom of the table.
Bowden's in the midfield now.
Yeah, good move, I think. Try and get him involved. And he's immediately winning the ball and sends it towards Rainbird. There was Reeves, who's been prominent for the Demons, wide for Banks Smith. He's been one of the Magpies' best today. Can he create something here? Not with kicking like that. Straight towards Collins, spilled out the back. This one going to stay in play. So he's juggled it out of play, so not the result the Magpies are after there. It was Goodsell. He had left it, would have got out in the full, went for the mark, and in the end gets neither. So ball thrown in once more. Decisive thumb forwards there from Ireland, and he trots off to be replaced by Allen for this next contest.
It's happened a few times now. They've had it on this near wing, Glenorchy, but the positioning of the North Hobart defence has been either Collins or Kilpatrick, as you mentioned, just 15 metres in front of the forward, and they've been able to chop off and begin that rebound that has led to a couple of goals this afternoon. Sandrick couldn't get access to the ball. That might be in the back. Very much so. Arnold emerges with the footy. He's been one of the best for Glenorchy this season, that's for sure. One of their stars. So he'll get things moving. He'll drive long down the line. Can take a mark. Big fist came across from Allen, who just kills the footy. Out of bounds it goes. Another boundary throw in here. 13 points the margin. North Hobart. It's all set up. 20 minutes deep into the third term. Advantage to the D's here on their home deck. Still in the hunt for finals. It would take something, but a mathematical possibility as Banks Smith just comes in and lays in a hard bump on Collins, and that sparks a minor fracas. Break up pretty quickly, though.
Just trying to fire him up there. Banks Smith knows his team needs a spark. Trying to instigate a bit of a brawl to get it there. If produces a goal, then it's probably the right option, but he's certainly been one of his side's best, as a free kick is going to go the way of the Demons here. And it'll be taken by Caswell, who's 7th in the league for tackles this year. He launches one ball up the line. What a mark that is! Pepin flies high, brings it down. They play on quickly to the top of the square, and the mark taken by McCulloch. What a grab that was, and it might lead to a goal too. Extraordinary scenes.
Hanger. Pure,
Wow.
unadulterated hanger.
Absolutely spectacular flight. But more importantly, it leads to another chance for Jack McCulloch to extend the lead to 19 points in the shadows of three-quarter time. He comes in and he misses. Lets Glenorchy off the hook. It's probably been the only aspect of their game that's let them down since quarter time, the Demons. They have left a few out there that they could have converted, but still a 14-point lead. Well on top. The Magpies desperately need something. And the mark taken here by Rundle. They won't have a long left here. They need to get the ball moving quickly. But it's been very stagnant again this quarter. He chips one in short for Geert. That's barely the required 15. Inching their way up the wing, but forced to go along now. And there is the siren. And it's the Demons 14 points in front at the break. They're flying here, and they are looking every bit like they're going to play spoiler to Jay Bowden's farewell and climb off the bottom spot on the table, and perhaps condemning the Magpies to the wooden spoon. They'll have one more game next week, of course, to arrest that. But as it stands, North Hobart looking every bit the side to win here. Glenorchy are going to need a big last quarter, Rowie.
They certainly are. North Hobart have dominated this game for the past two quarters. The second and third have well and truly belonged to the Demons. Glenorchy got that hot start, of course, but now it's all North Hobart, isn't it? And you would think that when you're farewelling a legend, as this club is doing today, they would have just maybe 5 or 10% extra in the tank for this final term, and that little bit of extra reason to maybe snatch a victory from the claws of defeat. But at the moment, it's the D's by 14 points. They rattled on 5 goals to 1 that term to take the advantage and turn around a 10-point half-time deficit, a 25-point quarter-time deficit. Have been the far superior team for the past 2 quarters, that's for sure. But 14 points is nothing in the grand scheme of things. And they'll reset Glenorchy at the start of this 4th and final term. The 4th and final term, of course, of Jay Bowden's state league career. He has 3 goals. Had another shot as well, which slid across the face. But the story is Julian DeBoz. He has 5 for the match, and he is certainly proving chief destroyer. 5 for him. Jai Menzie has 1. Singles as well to Hardy, McCulloch and Willis for North Hobart. And as we mentioned, Bowden has 3 for Glenorchy. Singles to Grace, Thompson, Joseph and Reese Mott. Who can be the circuit breaker, Drewy? Who can be the one, aside from Jay, that puts the team on their shoulders and says, come on, boys, come with me?
I think Josh Arnold might have to be the man because, as we've said a few times, they're really struggling off half-back. They're not moving the ball with any real speed. They're looking up. It's ugly. It's stagnant. He's 3rd in the competition for rebound 50s. He's a player who excels at the intercept game. He's the one who can get them kick-started off half-back, and for me, that's where it begins because right now they're just unable to move the ball with any great purpose or speed. The Demons just rolling that extra defender back, and there's no space for the Glenorchy forwards to work in. We've seen what Jay Bowden can do when he gets a one-on-one opportunity. He's been winning his duels today, but they've just starved him of service since quarter time, and that's why they find themselves in a giant hole. They also need to find a way to get on top in midfield because right now they've just got a lockdown on Cunliffe in particular, who's brought his own football, I think, and Sandrick too, fairly prominent in there. They need to get first hands on it a little bit more. But it's going to take something pretty extraordinary based on what we've seen in the last 2 quarters.
Yep, it certainly is. And as we mentioned, 8 goals to 2 in the last 2 quarters for North Hobart after Glenorchy kicked 5 of the first 6. So the D's here, as we mentioned as well, still a mathematical chance to play finals footy. They'll need to win today and win well. Then they'll need to win against Clarence in their final game and again win well. The odds are stacked against them. But there is still that minor carrot. A loss, of course, it could go the other way and they win the wooden spoon. So
yeah, look, it's hard to see them sneaking into finals, but you never know with football. Strange things can happen. In this year of all years, we should know that. But
well, if they play the way they're playing the last 2 quarters, this is as good as I've seen North Hobart play all year. And really, I suppose, cash in on their game plan. That the footy that we saw in the first couple of rounds, especially against that narrow loss to North Launceston at York Park, speed off half back and playing on at every opportunity and getting it in nice and quickly. Been really, really slick, and their defensive structure as well, as you mentioned, being able to set up a player in front of the forwards, and Aiden Grace hasn't had any access at all, and he's one of the gun forwards of the comp. He's coming off several weeks out, of course, so probably isn't quite 100%, but they've held him really well. Jay obviously got off the leash early, but they've done a really good job to contain him, and all of a sudden it's all dried up for Glenorchy up forward.
Yeah, and can't really blame the forwards because they did their job when it was sent into them early on when they got one-on-ones, but every time the ball has come forward really in the last couple of quarters, there's been a numerical advantage to the Demons. They've set up their structures really well behind the ball today. It's been tough for Glenorchy, but they're going to need to probably start winning a few out of the middle. 14 points down. It's been a game where, you know, both sides have looked pretty dangerous when they've got the ball in quickly, when they've given their forwards an opportunity. You'd say both sets of forwards have probably had the better of their respective defences. So can they find a way to win the ball out of the middle a little bit quicker? Can they shut down the dash of the Demons off half-backs? Probably the other thing that's been lightning on the outside from this North Hobart side. I've been really impressed with them, the way they've counter-punched.
And they've got to find a way to stop that. But look, the script is there now for the Prince of KG5.
It's all set up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is where the myths grow, or the mythology grows, when you're a couple of goals down at the last change in your final game, and who knows, maybe he kicks 2 or 3 and drags his team over the line. And the Glenorchy team just held their huddle for a few extra moments there, and you'd imagine that Coach Paul Kennedy might have had a few words about Jay, or to Jay, just in his last address to him as a player, and Jay's last address as a team ahead of his last quarter of footy.
Yeah, he's going to need a big last stand here, Jay Bowden. Can they get the ball to him? That's the big question. Collins standing him in the square. It's a man of the future up against a man who's been so very good for so long. We're off and running in the final quarter of Jay Bowden's TSL career. Can his side live for him? Or will it be the Demons' day as they look to get off the bottom of the table? It's the home side with a handy advantage of 14 points. Ireland's been impressive, the young ruckman. He whacks that one away from Deegan. Slung as he kicked it, and it's going to fall out the back here in favour Charlton if he can eventually gather it. Did Norton no favours with that handball at close range. He's going to be able to get it out from here. Rees-Mogg fell on it, and the umpire will ball it up half forward for the Demons. Sun-bathed North Hobart Oval. A glorious day for football here. Might be a glorious ending for Jay Bowden. Deegan wins that one down. Unable to get a decisive kick. Eventually worked forward by Charlton. Well, not taken cleanly. Glenorchy defence is under pressure here. That's perhaps a high tackle. Yes, it is. The umpire spotting that one, and the relieving free kick will be paid for the Magpies.
So Rainbird here just taking his time to emerge. Got clipped high and he's feeling it. He's been pretty good today, Rainbird. So he's going to flare things wide, see something he likes. It was over the head of Meredith, and it'll spill out of bounds. So that's a minor win there for North Hobart.
Didn't work, but I like the idea. They had runners coming out in front of them. They had won that contest. They were on down the wing there. They need to take risks like that.
It's the sort of game that they will need to play in this final stanza. Daly at the back of the pack gets boots a ball. Fortuitously ends up with Thompson, who just handballed into the middle of the ground. Banks Smith had to wait for it. He was eventually claimed. We'll have another ball up. North Hobart early terms fourth quarter. Stage is set here. Will it be a North Hobart victory? Or will the Pies climb the mountain? Although it is only a smallish mountain, to be fair, but they'll need to start playing some better footy than what we've seen the last 2 quarters. Rainbird squeezes out a handball. Somehow Thompson knocked off his kick. Here's Pepin, who took a hanger earlier in the game. Working hard now at half forward. North Hobart just didn't quite sit for Charlton. Glenorchy now with a chance to run it out via Goodsell, but the kick is misdirected and he's turned it over to Williams. He just pops it over the top. Kilpatrick now on the left boot, kicks inside 50. McCulloch diving, takes the mark, wheels around immediately, kicks toward goal. DeBoz is there, but DeBoz is not needed as it bounces through for the first of the fourth term, and that makes it very, very hard for the Glenorchy now.
20 points adrift. It's hard to see them getting back into this one. McCulloch questioned the decision to play on initially. Thought just go back and take the set shot, but maybe one of those players who prefers to kick on the run. Plenty of them out there. And just instinctively wheeled and sent it straight through the middle. Dobbo is in the square there, just escorting that one through. Continuing his day, and a pretty tough man to shift off of his position, and he was always going to be favoured to see that one through. But he said it was a smallish mountain they had to climb. Well, it's getting bigger by the moment here for the Glenorchy Magpies. Can they get a decisive break here? Quick entry in forward. There's a massive shirt grab there. The umpire spots it. A chance for an immediate response for Glenorchy.
This is crucial, isn't it?
They have to kick this. It's a big kick for Matthew Joseph. He kicked one in the first quarter. I'm sure the defender really needed to be grabbing the shirt as he did. It was a 2-on-2. It wasn't the most dangerous kick forwards, but the pressure perhaps getting to him. So Joseph must kick this goal for the Magpies. He sends it on its way. Does it have the journey? It just does. It had the required distance by all of a metre, but it's through the middle. And the margin cut back to 14 points. Can that spark the Magpies?
Well, that cancels it out, doesn't it? Cancels out the McCulloch goal. And, gee, that was a good finish from Joseph. Took the advantage from the free kick and just snuck it over the line. But still a nice finish from where he was. He has 2 for the afternoon now. Back to that margin. 14 points. So back in the middle we go. Big tackle laid. Ball just bobbling about. Eventually come out to Charlton. Couldn't gather it cleanly. Gear tried to hack it forward. Didn't go anywhere. Mott spun out of trouble but evaded an invisible tackler. And that's a good mark taken again by Kilpatrick, who's been good in defence for the D's this afternoon. Kick wasn't his finest though. Was looking for Caswell. Roberts arrives on the scene. Deegan had to work hard. Ireland ended up with the footy for North Hobart. Kick was a little fortuitous. It ended up with Cunliffe. They're away here, the D's. 1-2 on. Cunliffe with the short pass inside 50. Menzie.
Great play again from Cunliffe in the build-up. He's been spectacular today for the Demons. Brought his own football to this contest. And taking the quick play on option, and he had 2 men all on their own in the pocket. So why not? Although it's going to be a pretty tough kick on the angle here.
I'd like to know who's been responsible for Cunliffe this afternoon. So he has seemingly been able to do what he's pleased, as he's pleased. He'll have a shot on goal here.
Cunliffe from the tightest of angles in the forward pocket. He steps inside to open it up a little and sends it just wide, floats, and will be a behind. But yeah, he set the chance and he played on round to the pocket and still no one was picking him up. He's just run his own race today, Cunliffe. Some indecision here from the Magpies trying to play out from defence. Pressure has been manic all afternoon from those Demons forwards. They've done a great job locking the ball in, pressuring the Magpies, trying to play out from half back. Tackling intensity and pressure has been fantastic from the home side here. He's trying to skip out of here. It's a Rainbird. It's a poor kick though, easily picked off by McGuinness. He'll look up. Dobbo's a likely target given the form he's in. He'll just stand it up for him to fly at it. No one could get it, and then fell out the back. The quick snap just off target there from McCulloch. And that would have been a real dagger.
Certainly would have been. Already has 1 this afternoon. So Arnold gains some ground and clears defensive 50. Bowden on the end of it. He just decides to spiral one high and long. It almost worked for Joseph. It was ripped off his kick. Umpire saw it, and he'll have another free kick from a very similar position from where he kicked a goal 5 or 6 minutes ago. And again, another crucial kick. Thought about giving to Mott on the way past. He'll kick from just outside 50. Does he have the legs this time? He did, but in the search for distance, he just pulled it across the face for a minor score.
Just always looked a little bit too long, didn't it? That previous kick was right on his range, and this one was 5 metres further back there. But better off half back from the Magpies. Arnold just taking it, going long. Bowden working up the ground, and he wheeled and went quickly. That's what they need to do, is they take over and centre wing again and send it forward. But the Demons well situated back there, and they got plenty of numbers. The switch could be on if they want it. Caswell in acres of space Held on the wing nearest to us. This one chipped to McGuinness, and now eventually he'll go there, but it's a terrible kick. He rather broadcast that to Joseph, who runs in from the angle and drives it home. No, onto the post. Would have been a fantastic goal there.
Gee, we talk about fire starters. That would have been exactly that. Pick-off mark and a left foot finish from a tight angle would have been an absolute gem. Now North Hobart. Maybe Glenorchy just finding something here. Demons ball out of side. Long it goes. Up towards the wing. Big fly Bowden. Couldn't bring it down. Bouncing board forward now for Glenorchy. Bowden, wonderful through traffic. Fed the handball off. It was a little slick for his teammate in Joseph. Ball trapped at half forward. Still 14 points. 9 minutes gone. Glenorchy need the next goal.
That they do as umpire throws it up. Deegan fists it forward out in space here for Roundaloo. Bends it, but yes, it's bent back. Well, great goal in the end. Deegan got it out there to Rundle, and he has gone bang and cut the margin to 8 points. I wasn't sure it was working back quite enough, but a lovely kick in the end. And suddenly, we have ourselves a ball game.
8 points the margin. Sammy Rundle, the veteran, doing the business. Time not a factor yet. Plenty of time. Just 8 points. Well and truly game on. We have a grandstand finish. Glenorchy led by as many as 25 early doors. North Hobart reeled them back. Glenorchy now with the last two. Rundle again out of the middle. Here's Grace. Walker for company. Did well. Bowden desperate. Couldn't quite grab Poke on the way through. His kick was fraught with danger, but Sandrick was good enough. He went over the top to Pepin. Found his man. Right half back now, and they have just slowed a little bit here, the D's. Now he goes up and long down the line. Hardy flew early, positioned himself nicely and dragged in the mark. He's on centre wing. Right in front of the interchange benches. Eventually just has to pop a high one to half forward. Caswell almost marked uncontested. Eventually it spills out at right half forward for the D's. 8 points the margin here. 11 minutes gone. Fourth and final term. Boundary throw in. As the shadows at North Hobart lengthen. Big spike out of the ruck from Deegan. Got it to Dilger. 2-on-1 here, Grace. Over the top, Williams did well to shovel out a handball to Kilpatrick on the outside. Now Reeves, that was nicely done by hand. Ireland just had to kick in hope. Copperman chopping off across half back. Gets it to Mott. He's a good user and he's got a man free at half forward. Finds him. Joseph wheels and goes by hand. Banks Smith now inside 50 and he picks out Aiden Grace. So this to cut the margin to 2 points. Prolific goal kicker is Aiden Grace. He has one for the afternoon, been starved of opportunities. This would be big. So takes his time, does Grace, goes through the routine. Fairly tight angle. He'll kick from 35 metres out. Right forward pocket with a little Fred Flintstone twinkle toe setup. He misses to the near side. Minus score, Glenorchy. Margin just creeps into 7 points.
Yeah, and now we'll see the pressure dialed up on North Hobart. Cut to 7 points. What's the decision making going to be like? What the foot skills going to be like under pressure? Sometimes when you're a team that's struggled to win games throughout the year, they say winning's a habit. Well, so too is losing. And we'll just have to see how they handle this situation here. They've got the scent of victory. They wouldn't want to throw this one away after the position they've put themselves in. But you feel like Glenorchy are going to have an almighty late push here as they try and hit the victory and send off Jay Bowden in style. Down the line goes Reeves. He's been good today. The big man fly, hits the deck, gathered there by McCulloch. And he wants the safety of the boundary line. Finds it and did just enough to disguise it. Pretty clear what his intent was, but it's the throw in at half forward. And they've set up again. It's one-on-ones all around the ground here at the moment. As the umpire wheels it back into play. Deegan couldn't quite find Daly. Taken forward there by Reeves, and then they go towards Hardy, who's been strong, but he's dumped in a powerful tackle there. He tried to angle the body and get the in the back decision, but Koppelman did it nicely. A couple of hefty lads there going at it. Some real size about those two, as the ball is again one there by Reeves. Another ball up, half forward for the Demons. Probing here as they try and come up with a response. Glenorchy have had the better of the last quarter. They've cut the gap to 7 points. Deegan again decisively. Loves those big thumping hit-outs with the fist. And a free kick's been spotted here for over the shoulder. It's going against Dilger. And it's going to Pepin, who lit up North Hobart with that mark he took earlier. A real mark of the year contender there. Elijah Reardon probably the front runner, but maybe some competition after today, as Pepin didn't deceive Dilger there and gave it off to Allen. Bends it to the centre of the forward 50. Umpire hovering. Allows it to go, but eventually they'll have to throw it up.
So interesting period here as the clock ticks. Time starting to become a factor now. 15 minutes gone in this fourth and final term. Didn't quite get the outside of the boot as he intended there, and that's going to be called deliberate. Blowfield, I think the intention was to get meterage, although the kick in here from North Hobart to Reeves. Managed to fix his mess. DeBoz got hands to the foot. He couldn't quite drag it down. Meredith got the kick out of the congestion. Here's Reeves again. Been good today for North Hobart. Sandrick was ripped off the footy. Umpire said play on. All still bobbling around. Eventually ends up with McCulloch. Kick towards the boundary line. Brennan and Hardy go at it. Brennan gathers the footy. Gets it off to Joseph. Evades a tackler. Kick toward a wing. Blowfield almost took a mark. It's out of bounds on the full. McGuinness to take the free kick here. They're just hanging on here, North Hobart. They're doing enough. In it comes from Tyler McGuinness. Kick inside 50. Again, DeBoz the target. But the Glenorchy defence will see it out for a boundary throw in right forward pocket. 16 minutes gone. Final term, 7 points.
Another goal would make it very difficult here if the Demons can conjure something. The Magpies need to hold on. Fisted towards the boundary line. Looks like we're going to have a repeat throw in there as Willis just escorts that one out of play. It's at the right end of the field as far as North Hobart are concerned, though. They've got a 7-point advantage. There'll be a couple of minutes left here as the ball comes back into play. Big moments in this massive game to wind out the weekend. Can the Magpies clear the area? The pressure again is frenetic from these North Hobart forwards. Their tackling and pressure has been fantastic, really, since quarter time. They've done a great job locking it in there. They're eating precious seconds off the clock here. Hardy went for it, trying to skip free there. Unable to do so. Hardy again and again immediately tackled there. Slightly in the back from Koppelman. Gets away with it.
You sense it's going to be a lot of this for the next 3 or 4 minutes, don't you?
It's tight.
North Hobart happy to play this game and see it out. 7 points, and it comes again. Who can be the hero for Glenorchy? Rundle just tried to lose his man. He's claimed holding the ball in the end. He feigned for a high tackle, but Cunliffe got him. Over he goes. Cunliffe's been magnificent today. Prime mover through the midfield. Played a big hand in this comeback He's going to set it up here to a dangerous spot. Just about snuff out the game if a big mark is taken, and it is. Hardy thought he had enough of it. Daly emerges with it now for Glenorchy. High ball into the middle of the ground. They need a mark here. The Pies. Walker juggled it. Couldn't quite reel it in. Deegan there fighting hard. Emerging with the footy was Reeves. Fed it out to Willis. He's got a man all alone inside 50 in McCulloch. He'll have a shot for goal and will eat 30 seconds off the clock. In fact, he's got Hardy short, and that's where he goes.
Poor marking there on that occasion from Koppelman, just standing too far off him, and a good chance to eat some crucial game clock here for big Nathan Hardy. And if he kicks it, maybe put the result beyond doubt.
So Nathan Hardy has one to his name for the afternoon. Can seal a victory here for North Hobart to make it 13 points and beyond. 2 straight kicks. He's pushed this across the face.
And the door stays ever so slightly ajar. We've ticked past 19 minutes. They need to move it quickly, the Magpies. That's just what they do. Long searching kick, and that's sent forward towards Joseph. A one-on-one here. The sun wreaking havoc upon the players. Joseph turns. He picks it up. He snaps towards home. How will it bounce? It's through. And it's a 2-point ball game after 19 and a half minutes in the final quarter. Joseph kicks his third. And we've got the grandstand finish we were after. And now, is it just set up for the Prince to really seal a fairy tale?
There is just something electric in the air, isn't there, that suggests that Jay Bowden might have something to do with this final roll of the dice for Glenorchy. 10-9-69 the D's, 10-7-67 Glenorchy. Strap yourselves in.
Look at them all push up and give him the square.
Fasten your seatbelts. Back in the middle here, 2-point ball game. Geared and Caswell go in after it. Down goes Reeves. Kick forward for North Hobart. Mark taken by McCulloch. And this could be enough.
They win the crucial centre clearance immediately. That's a great response. And he'll eat plenty of time off the clock here. Not sure how long is left, but it can't be too long. And he's eating up every second he can. And there it is. The siren sounds. The Demons will win the game. And McCulloch with a chance to put the exclamation mark on top of it. He goes back. He puts it wide. It matters not. The Demons have won. And they're off the bottom of the ladder with a round to go in the season. They've sent the Magpies to the bottom and played spoiler on Jay Bowden's farewell. It was a hard-fought match. Glenorchy jumped them, kicking 5 of the first 6. But from then on, apart from a late wobble, it really was North Hobart's day and probably fair winners at the end of it.
Yeah, what a game. It had a little bit of everything, didn't it? You had a Glenorchy getting the jump in the first term, and then 2 quarters belonging to North Hobart, who were dominant in that middle period of the game, and then the late fight back from Glenorchy that just fell short. A heartbreaker for Jay Bowden and his beloved Magpies. They fall by 3 points in the end, but all guts from North Hobart, who, when they went down by 25, could easily have dropped their head, but they said no. Still plenty of time in this one, and they reeled Glenorchy in very impressive fashion. They won by 3 points at the end of the day. Julian DeBoz was magnificent, and he kicked his 5 goals when they needed to be kicked. He went a little bit quiet late in the game, but when it was there to be won, he stood tall. Jay Bowden, 3-goal effort in his final game, and it was a classic Jay Bowden performance, really. He was a dangerous presence up forward. He got up and down the wings to take some marks. He did some nice work in the midfield when he got injected, but even the Prince couldn't carry his team to a victory today. These 2 teams with such a long history, and another chapter gets added to what has been a long and storied rivalry in Tasmanian football.
Yeah, it hasn't been the year for fairy tales, has it? So perhaps we should have seen it coming, 2020 being what it is. But look, we're not going to look back on Jay Bowden's career and focus on the final day of the season. He's written his story well and truly before today. What a player he's been for this Glenorchy side. An absolute star of the competition, a pleasure to watch. And sad to see him trot off from the park for the final time in the TSL. And he might even get the Guard of Honour treatment here, I think, which would be fitting, as he has been such a contributor. But a fantastic game of football, this one. North Hobart Demons claiming the victory. But it'll be one final moment here for that man, Jay Bowden. What a player he's been. And the respect from both sides clear as he wanders off with the Guard of Honour. Not the farewell he would have wanted, but what a career, what a player. And it's been an absolute pleasure watching him.
Yeah, he's lit it up for so long, and even today in his farewell game, he lit it up in parts, didn't he? 3 goals, they were all gems, especially that balk from 50 where he just finished from the paint. That was just vintage Jay Bowden. You could replay that over any of his seasons and it would be befitting. But North Hobart, the heartbreakers and the ultimate party spoilers today, and they get a very deserved 3-point win. It was a great team effort, wasn't it? They just, chips were down and they just didn't drop their heads, and some of their younger players stood up. I thought Will Pepin and Jai Menzies were exceptional. Sam Collins went to Bowden after Bailey Walker was probably got the treatment early in the game, and I thought he did a really, really good job. I thought Reeves was good in the middle. DeBoz obviously kicked his 5, but I thought it was Sandrick and Cunliffe in the engine room who really led the charge and completed the fight back for North Hobart.
Yeah, Cunliffe for me. I think DeBoz probably gets the 3 votes, because for any key forward to kick 5 goals in modern football, shortened quarters, plus the way the game's evolved, that's an incredible effort. But given the way votes tend to go towards midfielders, you wouldn't be shocked to see 3 votes going to Troy Cunliffe. He was magnificent today. He was everywhere. He gave them the lift they needed. He had the ball on a string and was such a key part of the way they just exerted their dominance on the contest in really from quarter time onwards. Glenorchy's midfield, I thought Rainbird battled pretty well in there for them, but just they didn't have a lot of other winners in the middle of the park today, Glenorchy.
So I'm going to make the votes official here, Drewy.
There we go.
Without consulting you. Jay Bowden gets the 1. He kicked 3 goals, and I thought he was Glenorchy's best player, actually, throughout the game. I thought Bank Smith was pretty good. I thought Rainbird was okay. Reece Mott was pretty good in patches. But I thought he was Glenorchy's best player, kicking those 3 early goals and getting them out to that 25-point lead. Troy Cunliffe, as you mentioned, 2 votes. Midfield bull. Decimated them through the middle of the ground, and Julian DeBoz to kick 5 goals, spot on from you. When your team kicks 10, you kick half your team's score. Dealing with 2 defenders all day, an exceptional effort, and kicked them from everywhere too. They weren't just from the goal square. There was a couple of crafty goals, a couple of traditional full forward goals, and it was a good all-round performance. But that is all from us from North Hobart Oval. Tasmanian State League action. Jay Bowden, he's been a champion for many, many a season. He bows out, sadly for him and his team, on the wrong end of this one this afternoon. It was North Hobart 10-10-70, spoiling the party. Glenorchy 10-7-67, the D's 3-point winners. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. It was a pleasure bringing it to you live on the stream. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do it next time. Bye for now.